I'm out of the studio and out on the street. Or am I? Backdrops like this one have long played a role in the movies, as you're about to see in what we're calling a background report from John Blackstone.
They're just paint and canvas. But in Hollywood's golden age, painted backdrops played a vital role in the magic of movies.
I just met a girl named Marie.
Creating cities, sunsets, or anything else that a director could imagine.
You could see the bricks and how they're laid.
And art instructor Karen Maness appreciates every brushstroke.
The backdrop is part of extending the world of the set. Oftentimes it was just seen outside windows.
Did I hear you say that you were a writer?
But sometimes it even included the entire world of a set on a soundstage and creating that environment.
Take The Wizard of Oz.
You open up into that first view of Oz to see that entire space shaped by paintings.
Maness is co-author of The Art of the Hollywood Backdrop. Art, she says, that has often gone unappreciated. Impressive, but
Designed to be invisible.
why write a book about it?
Because they're some of the largest paintings ever created by exceptionally skilled artists. Never recognized, never credited, and part of what makes these films extraordinary.
Many people may have paintings at home on the wall that family members have done.
I have a bunch.
Really big ones. Lynne Coakley's great-grandfather was a scenic artist for MGM in the 1930s. Her grandfather and father followed him into the business. Their backdrops, or backings as they're called in the industry, gave luster to movies like The Sound of Music. They painted recreations of on-location settings that were sometimes just seen through doors and windows on a soundstage.
Both my grandfather and my father painted this backing along with 7 other ones that were used around the gazebo, at the convent.
What makes this look so realistic?
The textures, the details, you've got the correct perspective. It's just a really beautifully painted backing.
In 1962, her family founded the J.C. Backings Corporation to paint and supply backdrops for movies and TV shows. They bought hundreds of backdrops from MGM, 20th Century Fox, and Disney.
A lot of the studios in the 70s and the 80s just were getting rid of all of their backdrops. They just didn't want to have it anymore.
One prized acquisition, the famous Mount Rushmore backdrop from North by Northwest. From down here, we can believe we're looking up at that mountain, at those heads.
You want to climb it?
Their backdrop from the 1959 movie Ben-Hur features a vista of ancient Rome.
Will Rome see you again?
And in 2015, it was seen again in the Coen brothers movie, Hail Caesar.
Backings are not happy when they're rolled up in a dark little spot down below in a storage warehouse.
Then this backdrop must be awfully content. It first appeared in the 1949 film The Fountainhead. Then it provided a view of New York City on the Jeffersons.
Oh, you shouldn't have, but I'm glad you did.
Until it wore out and was repainted.
And already has rented over 30 times, and to different TV shows like Felicity, the original Roseanne, The Practice.
Lynne Coakley, who is now president of J.C. Backing, says that painted backdrops still make up about a third of the company's rentals.
And this is a backlit photo backing.
With new technology, J.C. Backings also creates photo and vinyl backdrops that can be dazzling.
And voila, you have night.
If done well, a painted backdrop and a photographic backdrop should make no difference.
Production designer Tom Walsh uses photographic backdrops on the set of the Fox TV series Deputy.
This is looking east from the Hall of Justice building.
But the old ways remain his first choice.
I still prefer to always use a painted backdrop whenever possible because I think they light better. And you can interpret the reality as opposed to just take a photograph, and what the photograph is what you get.
You know, as the industry itself is changing and the way they make movies changes, there is this feeling that we need to start thinking about preserving the old things.
Mary McNamara, culture columnist for the Los Angeles Times, first wrote about efforts to save old hand-painted backdrops that often were just thrown away. What's lost when a lot of these artifacts disappear.
Well, the tangible history of Hollywood, and also some of these things are works of art in themselves.
Even Lynne Coakley had more painted backdrops than she needed when the company moved to new quarters.
I had some backings I really didn't need to move. They had never rented, or they're so specific.
Coakley told Tom Walsh about her dilemma.
And so I said, well, you know, these are to be preserved. And then, of course, opening my big fat mouth, I realized, all right, how are you going to follow up on that?
So Walsh created the Backdrop Recovery Project. With the help of Maness and Coakley, they cataloged more than 200 backdrops.
We didn't know what we were going to get every time we opened up a backdrop. We weren't quite sure what it would be.
There was an old vaudeville oleo drop, and no one knew what it was from, really. And we opened it up, and I went, I've seen that drop.
It was from the classic musical, Singin' in the Rain.
It was like seeing an old friend, exhilarating.
Other backdrops were from a different orbit, like this one from Forbidden Planet.
Look at the color of that sky. Yeah, but I'll still take blue.
And then it was my job to go around the world and, hey, you want a little 90-foot wide piece of art for your wall? But lo and behold, it worked.
Some went to museums, some to institutions like the University of Texas at Austin, where Karen Maness uses them to inspire her students.
Come on over. It's thrilling to see my students learning from these ghosts.
Walsh is still looking for homes for some 60 backdrops, but he's pleased with their progress.
They're finding a new life. There's a life after death for the art of Hollywood.